Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Joshua, I couldn't help but noticing that you were unbuttoning your shirt while we were waiting for that count.
No. A button popped open, and I'm like, Jesus Christ!
I was going to say, you would have really excited a lot of people in the chat, apparently, from my snooping ahead of the show.
You can check my OnlyFans for that.
Don't get them excited about you having an Only. He's kidding. He does not have an OnlyFans.
No, that would
yet.
be really bad.
Who knows?
Bad move. Professionally. Yeah. Anyway, how are you?
I don't know, Joshua. Some stuff's been going on. Some plans have been hatched. It's been an exciting time.
I'd say this is very exciting. Are we going to survive?
Well, you're the psychic. You got to tell me. I have no idea. But I will tell you this. So you know what I was wondering today, Joshua? It was like, so the naming of COVID, right? So they like the Delta variant has popped up and is everywhere apparently, and is very scary, even though there's no test, so no one can actually know if there's the Delta variant or like what people have or any of that. And I was like, why the hell is it called the Delta variant? And then we have the Lambda variant after, because like, you know what I think of when I think of the word Lambda?
What?
Revenge of the Nerds. That is the very first thing that pops into my head is Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. And I was like, why are they naming this Lambda anything? Like, this is a horrible idea. Like, there's going to be all sorts of like Revenge of the Nerds memes. Like, I'm going to have to watch that goddamn movie again.
You should watch it again, because none of it you would not be able to get away with that movie today, by the way.
I feel like, and I also feel like the sequel was better than the first one.
Okay. I think it's on Amazon right now. I think.
Oh, maybe we should have Revenge of the Nerds movie night or something. But the reason I found out an answer to this, the reason that it is named the Delta variant and then the Lambda variant is because the WHO will name COVID-19 variants with Greek alphabet to avoid stigmatization. It's so they don't have to say it came from China.
Oh,
That's why. Because not like every virus in the history of viruses has been named for the place that it originated, either accidentally or not accidentally. That's why. Wow. But you know what's going to happen when they run out of letters? They have a plan for this, and you're not going to like this plan. You want to guess what's going to happen when they run out of letters?
They're going to make them astrological signs? A constellation?
After Greek letters, the WHO looks to star constellations to name additional COVID-19 variants.
I won't have this. I will go to my first protest ever.
When all the Greek letters are used up to name the COVID-19 variants, the World Health Organization might start naming them after the stars.
This is terrible, terrible news. You've officially ruined my night. Bad idea. That's horrible. I'm very upset about this. Can I ask you something, Carlin?
Yes.
What the hell happened to the common cold? Have you heard anybody say I've had a cold in the past 2 years?
You know what happened to the common cold? It's called the Delta variant.
Nobody has a cold. Like, I haven't heard anybody. So what, did COVID kill the cold? Like, video killed the radio star?
No one has colds anymore, ever, because it's called the Delta variant.
Well, that's what's happening.
The show's already gotten demonetized. YouTube's like, no.
Somebody could have a cold right now, and then they go straight to COVID. It's the Rona. You know what I mean? What happened to like just having a regular common cold? Nobody's had a cold in 2.5 years. It's crazy town.
It's funny how that works. I mean, the flu too. We basically eliminated the flu.
No. So yeah, COVID killed the common cold, the flu. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. And now they're having, as I mentioned to you, they're having us mask up in LA for the time being.
So what are the new rules in LA? I can't even keep up. Your rules change all the time.
From what I gather, outside concerts, and it was crazy. I was looking at this on Twitter, and everybody's behind it. They're like, yeah, you should wear 2 masks. You should all be required to wear 2 masks outside. I'm like, who are these people? What are they thinking? It's crazy. It's like, and also the mask, like, I think spiritually or symbolically is all about like protection. And like when you create a protection that like sets up an attack. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yeah. See, I would say the masks are more like a muzzle. I think that's what the masks are. I don't think it's about protection. I think it's about muzzling people.
It's a terrible, I think, symbol for us all to see. But I'm seeing Adam Ant in October. And I'm very upset because it's an indoor venue, I believe.
Yeah, well,
And
we'll see
I
if
don't
that's
wanna
going to
have go.
happen.
Well, if it, who knows? And now they're gonna make the singers wear the masks. It's crazy town.
I
Crazy.
will send you the fake mask link that I got from Etsy, and it is the best fake mask ever. I wore to Ruben's house. Well, I had it when we went to Ruben's house. It's so sheer, doesn't feel like you're wearing anything. I'll hook you up with the fake mask link on Etsy.
Okay, well, I went ahead because I have to wear my mask at the gym, and I spent way more money than I should have on different colored masks because that part of me doesn't want, like, I don't want to get thrown out of the gym.
Yeah, but can you breathe in them?
I mean, I'm an athlete, Carlin. I can breathe in a mask just fine. Thank you.
The fake mask can be better. I'll tell you what.
I bet so. I mean, I actually am looking at it as a challenge now. Like today, I'm like, I can do this. Like I have good stamina, blah, blah. But I got a whole bunch of different colored masks. I got camouflage masks. I've got multicolored masks. And of course, I got my black masks. Not because I like masks, just because I don't want to get thrown out of the gym. Because people are crazy town, especially in LA about this.
Mm-hmm.
They are nutso.
Well, look, Six Semper Tyrannus says there are 24 letters in the Greek alphabet. So why are they even planning for more than 24 effing variants?
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's kind of like with the vaccine cards, how there's like 2 lines and then there's another 2 lines. And Thomas Massey was so fucking boss. He tweeted out, he was like, and this was like maybe a month or 2 ago, he tweeted out, what did you think the other 2 lines were for? Why would there need to be 4 lines on these if you only need 2 doses for some of the vaccines? Why did the cards need 4 lines? Well, magically now they're saying people need boosters.
Not only that, but do you know, I was talking to somebody the other day, they got double vaxxed. So they got, like, say, the Pfizer.
No.
Yeah. Like, what are you thinking? Why would you, like, it's crazy town. Can you imagine getting 4 shots total? I mean, it's
if I end up getting vaccinated, I'm getting 1 shot because I'm getting the Johnson & Johnson, and that's it. I'm not messing around.
Shot? It's not 2?
1.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's true. I don't think I'm making that up. Chat, let me know if I'm making that up, but I don't think I am.
Okay.
The world has gone mad, Joshua. The world has gone insane. And now we have an actual problem to deal with in Afghanistan, which I'm sure we will talk about that tonight. But before we get into that, folks, welcome to Nothing Remotely Controversial. This is a show that Joshua and I do every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where I talk about the news and whatever I find interesting. And Joshua, who is a professional psychic, uses his psychic and astrology and tarot card prowess to help us peer beneath the surface and terrify us with what is actually going on in any given situation. Joshua, I do actually owe you a congratulations because you correctly predicted that Britney Spears' conservatorship, or at least her father's role in that, would go away. So that one has come true.
I'm glad. I'm surprised, actually. I thought he was going to be holding on to dear life for that. Yeah.
No, he gave it up. He gave it up willingly. Well, willingly.
Yeah,
after massive public backlash and like congressmen calling him a dick.
Yeah.
So cool. Joshua does have a pretty high degree. You do have a pretty high degree of accuracy with this stuff, don't you?
Well, I was saying to you that I knew something was going to happen this week. I didn't know what, but I thought it was going to be something weird. That like a fly ball. Is that the right term? I was talking fly ball. Fly ball?
I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whoa. What just happened? And that was Afghanistan. He's getting a lot of flack for that on every single side.
Well, he should get a lot of flack for that. But even before we talk about that, we never should have been there in the effing first place. Do you remember the protests on the Boston Common around this stuff when we were both in college?
2001?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I protested this shit in Boston when I was 20 years old. And I remember like it was awful then because like all the Republicans, I'm sorry Republicans, but this is true, like they painted everyone as traitors that had any questions at all about any of this. I was never in favor of going into either Iraq or Afghanistan. We never should have been there in the effing first place. And this is what happens when you screw around. And it took 20 years.
What was the reasoning for being there? To be a policeman of the world? Or?
Well, so it was okay. I'm gonna have to go back, but like it was painted as like Osama bin Laden was responsible for this, and he's being harbored in Afghanistan. But the thing of it is that the Taliban offered to give us Osama bin Laden. They offered it back then. I've got the news story. We can pull it up. They offered it back then, and George W. Bush, because he's a raging moron, said, no, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And so then Osama bin Laden went to Pakistan, and then we were stuck in Afghanistan for 20 years to bring democracy to the region, which they never effing wanted anyway. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And now the what was this? It was either I think it was the State Department spokesperson is talking about how they're asking the Taliban to have women in their leadership team. That is never going to happen, ever. The whole idea is ludicrous. It's not going to happen. But you know what's really absurd, Joshua? The Taliban spokesperson is on Twitter.
He has a Twitter account, yet Donald Trump has been suspended.
Yes. And Twitter has come out and said that they can continue to have their Twitter account as long as they don't get too violent.
Oh, how nice.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Wow.
All right, guys, let's pull up some super chats and see what you want Joshua to psychic for the night. Now, if you have never been here before, you can ask Joshua questions and he can psychic them for you. We do just ask, so you have to send in a super chat to ask a question because time is money. You get to decide the amount of the super chat depending on how much you like us on any given day. But the only thing we ask is that we ask a high level question, not a what's a high level question, Joshua? Something that's interesting to everyone.
Was Kamala Harris for or against backing out of Afghanistan?
That's a good question. We'll definitely do that at some point tonight.
All right, I'll send in the super chat.
All right. So you can ask, hint, was Kamala Harris for or against leaving Afghanistan? What role did she play in this? And did she really get caught shouting, this shit's not getting pinned on me, or is that fabricated? That's a question you can ask in a super chat. We just ask that you don't ask low-level questions like, should I move to Los Angeles? Because the answer is no, because Los Angeles is the worst city in the world, besides New York.
I don't know if it's worst or
it's
one.
Pretty high up there. All right, let's see. We've already got a bunch of super chats rolling in. Let me see what we're starting with. Armani V. When will New York City completely get rid of the vaccine passport mandate? They're not even allowing medical exemptions as per the mandate. You'd think Jersey City or Hoboken will adopt the vax passport. All right, let's start off with New York City. When will New York City get rid of this absurd, stupid, Orwellian, authoritarian vaccine passport mandate?
And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Let's see. 9 of discs, 5 of wands, 4. I would say by spring next year.
Next year.
I say that because we have 4 of wands, which is Venus and Aries. This card is ruled by the sign of Aries. And before then, we have strife. Strife. The Irish
family reunion.
At least yeah. So there we have it. I would say spring of 2022.
Oh, fun. Well, I did just get a notification like a couple hours ago saying they're extending the mask mandate on all public transportation through January 19th or some such nonsense, like airplanes. I hate everyone, Joshua. Our world is going to hell in a handbasket.
It's very sad.
I feel like I should be an old man sitting on the porch with a cane going, when I was your age.
I was your age.
I remember a time when we didn't even have TSA to get on planes. Now here we are.
Smoke on airplanes. Actually, I don't think I do remember that, but that I think is hysterical that you can actually smoke on airplanes at one point. Yeah. And do you know, after they outlawed smoking on airplanes, pilots, they let smoke because they were worried about pilots having nick fits when they're on the plane. Yeah.
I feel like the pilots can get away with whatever they want. They're behind their locked door.
Oh, I bet they get away with a lot. Yeah.
All right, let's see. The second part of Armani's V's question on this. Do you think Jersey City or Hoboken will adopt vaccine passports? Can we just say New Jersey? Will vaccine passport be adopted in New Jersey? Oh, hey, Brian Gibson's here. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, my friend.
Hi, Brian. Brian, will you repeat the question?
Sorry, I distracted you. Will vaccine passports be adopted in New Jersey?
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Let's see. Balance. 9 of discs. 8 of cups. I think that it's going to be more of a balance in New Jersey. I think they're going to be, doing their own thing. And with the 8 of cups, they might be just, walking away from it. So I think they might have some mandates, but not as severe as New York City.
All right. Let's see. Okay, Armani V also asks, will the vaccine be required for domestic flights and train within the United States? Will it be temporary? Also, please mount that daddy like button.
Ooh, this
is
daddy.
Your fault, Joshua.
Daddy like button.
This is your fault.
My fault?
Yes. You started this.
The mounting. Well, if I'm going to start anything, it may as well be mounting, especially in the era. So we want to know if
will the vaccine be required for domestic flights and travel within the domestic flights and train within the United States?
Don't we already have that?
No, vaccine. Will the vaccine? Yes.
Oh God.
This is a legit thing. I heard the Biden administration was considering this.
So will vaccines be required for domestic flights as well as, what did you say, trains?
Domestic air flights and train. Interstate travel.
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Ace of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups. I don't think so. No.
Good. Thank God for that.
I think the logic of it is, and these are really, really nice cards, that they know if people want to go out and have fun. If you're flying to New York City, well, unless you're going to be staying in your hotel room and you want to go to places, you're probably going to get back. So yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. Pastor Brian Gibson is asking in the chat, will I knit him a sweater? Brian, if you're very nice and you bring me to your next Faith and Freedom event, I will absolutely knit you a sweater. Pastor Gibson and his wife Jessie are awesome people. They have churches in Kentucky and Texas. Very good people.
You mentioned him to me before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he sounds great.
They're some of the Christians that I like. I don't always like Christians, but I like them. And they did this whole so this is they were the ones that they ran that conference in Dallas that I spoke at, and they did this whole revival, and it was awesome. It was so fun.
Very cool. That's awesome.
All right.
12 years of Catholic school, just so you know.
Well,
just saying.
Suspect because Catholic school.
Say what?
You're suspect because it's Catholic school. They think I'm a heathen, but it's okay.
Oh.
I still like them anyway. All right, let's see. Dragon Water says, because will Oregon have will Oregon have vaccine mandates, and this is the actual question. Will writing letters to the governor in Oregon actually help with the vaccine mandates? P.S. I already did this week, but mount that like button.
So will writing letters deter vaccine mandates in Oregon, right?
Yes.
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Let's see. Hangman, 6 of Cups, Ace of Cups. I think at a later date with the Hangman, I would say with the 6 of Cups, since we have 3 people in the ferry going across the waters, I think that something like a petition might be better. Maybe it's a bunch of signatures might be good. Something that they can't ignore. If it's coming a letter from one person. But with Ace of Cups, I don't think it could hurt. I just would get more people on board.
So Dragon Water, there are your marching orders. You need to form a posse. You need to start a petition. You need to get people on your team.
Something that they can't ignore, because then, you get a whole bunch of people that are sort of like, we signed this. We have all these signatures. Hello. Oi. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's see. I'm really surprised we've got no Afghanistan questions, Joshua, but I've got a couple in the back of my mind if no one asks them. Do those at the end. All right, let's see. John Clark wants to know. This is actually a really good question because I logged into my crypto. I was afraid to look at my crypto after the infrastructure bill passed the Senate, but I logged into it. I was pleasantly surprised that all of my crypto was up. And John Clark wants to know, will crypto crash within the next 15 months? You're not a fan of crypto, Joshua. You've always been a negative Nancy.
Nope. I don't like it. Will crypto crash in 15 months, within 15 months?
Yes, I'm checking my balance right now. It is going down. Fuck.
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
We're not giving financial advice here, just to let you know. A friendly reminder.
Friendly reminder, YouTube. He is a psychic. He is not giving health advice. He's not giving finance advice. Not giving medical advice. He's a psychic.
I don't think in 15 months it will crash. No, there's good things within the next 15 months. However, I do worry about the future of crypto. But
you always like to rain on my crypto parade, Joshua.
No, I would just make sure in the next 15 months, I think crypto could be pretty damn good. You get the 9 of Cups.
Yeah.
One card.
Yeah.
10 of Cups. I mean, we couldn't have gone through this deck. And you know where I stand in the matter. So I didn't cut the deck, or what did they call it? I didn't
I don't know.
Tape the cards or something like that. Yeah. I think in the next 15 months we're gonna be okay. But again, I worry about it in the future. So there you have it.
I'll take it. 15 months is a long time. It's a long time for my crypto wallet to go up. All right. Dragon Water asks, from a psychic perspective, are the efforts to fight CRT having positive effect towards breaking the hold it has on institutions? It's a good question.
Is the fight against CRT going to help?
Going to have a positive effect towards breaking the hold it has on institutions.
And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
The Fool, 3 of Discs, 7 of Cups. So with the Fool card, I think that really it's a matter of what resists persist, right? So it's sort of it's like waking up every morning and being like, I'm fat. And you wake up every morning, you're like, I'm fat, right? And then it's like, well, if you keep saying that you're fat, you're going to perpetuate being fat because you're still in the vibration of being fat. So the same thing I think with CRT, what we resist persists. So the fight against it is not necessarily the best mode of getting traction. However, with 3 of Discs, we do have some work in that realm of stuff actually getting done. But with 7 of Cups, it's a matter of there's a dissolving of it because again, focusing on the problem perpetuates the problem. What I've always said in regard to CRT from a spiritual perspective is why are we not replacing this with something else? So it's sort of it's like you make mashed potatoes wrong. You make mashed potatoes wrong. You make mashed well then you're not giving me another option. How should I be making my mashed potatoes? So we still have shitty mashed potatoes because we're not getting an alternative. So
the alternative is if you teach real history, not made up history. That is the alternative. This is the problem. It's like you can't they made up history. They made up a whole academic course of study and then ingrained it in everything. The only alternative is to actually teach things that actually happened, used to happen in schools. That is the only alternative. And I understand what you're saying because I've said, and I wrote about this in the book, is you need to have a vision for people to move towards.
Right.
And I agree with that. But it's also hard when it comes to schools because it's can't we just go back to the old way of teaching history? Because that seemed to work pretty well. because it was actually real. It wasn't made up nonsense in which we were talking about feelings. And Joshua, I did a 2-hour live stream today about anti-racist math.
Math, as in like
I read an 80-page teacher training manual training math teachers on how to be anti-racist. You know what some of the suggestions were? Why don't you have students sing songs and do interpretive dances about their feelings about math? I swear to God, the only alternative to that is you teach effing math.
So how is teaching math racist?
Exactly. This is why this is an entirely made-up discipline.
Right. Well, I think the big thing is the state of the world, the way it's in regard to race relations, apparently people do not believe that that's effective enough. That's why we got this CRT. So I know you're saying
that's not why we got it. That's not why we got it. We got it because they want communism to take over our society. That's why. Communism.
Yeah.
Yes, is a Marxist ideology.
So I would say it just looks like there's a little bit of dissipation. And that's the thing. Like, I think with this card, it's like you want something grounded. Like Seven of Cups, just it dissipates. It's very like Pisces. It's very like moon type energy. It just sort of like dissolves. You know what I mean? So if we can get more Earth, because there's a lot of energy that's being directed toward making it go away. But again, it dissolves unless we have something to sink our teeth into. So it's sort of like if other people are saying that the old way is not the best way, maybe there's some kind of compromise.
No, there is no compromise when they're telling us to teach interpretive dance in math class as a way of learning math.
Math helps you solve problems. It really does.
All right.
Were you good in math?
I was very good in math. I tested into advanced math as a young, like a 12-year-old or some such nonsense. So I took advanced math classes. But you know what I learned today in the anti-racist math textbook, Joshua?
What?
Is that if I had, like, you know how math classes are like sequential? Like I took like algebra 1 and then algebra 2 and then pre-calculus and then calculus and then calculus 2. You know how there's like a sequence?
Yep.
What the anti-racist math teacher training textbook says is the sequence doesn't really matter. And if a student fails algebra 1, that doesn't mean they can't do great in algebra 2. It's white supremacist to think that a failure in algebra 1 might not lead to success in algebra 2. Literally said that, not making that up.
That's preposterous. How can you do algebra 2 if you can't master algebra 1?
Congratulations, you are a white supremacist.
I am. That's not good.
You're already a white man. Like you already had that like strike against you, and now you've asserted that someone actually has to pass one class before going on to a more advanced level in that class. Racist.
Wow.
All right.
Hopefully not all the teachers of the world are following into this.
See, people wonder why I'm angry. It's because I read critical race theory all the goddamn time. This right here. Interpretive goddamn dance in math class. All right, let's keep going.
Can you not even tell? Can you also like be like, no, Johnny, sorry, you got the answer wrong. Like,
no,
you can't say that. Like,
no, you can't do that because that is reinforcing objectivity, which is white supremacist.
But math is objective.
No, not anti-racist math. Anti-racist math, objectivity is white supremacist. You're not allowed to do that. Instead of saying no, and actually there were also like 3 different violations that a teacher correcting a student like violated in terms of white supremacy. It was saying that teachers were, first of all, students are supposed to teach teachers in math class, not the other way around. And if you don't accept that, then you're a white supremacist. And it's also the only reason that you're not accepting that is because the teachers are trying to feel emotionally comfortable, and they're just uncomfortable when students teach them different ways of math. And also there is ethnocentric math, which means we have to do the math of our ancestors if we are not white, and that may not be the proper way to do math. So we have to accept doing the math of the ancestors or we're white supremacists. I didn't make any of that up. That was all in the teacher training manual.
Wow. It's crazy.
This is the problem. 2-hour stream on it today. You guys can go back and watch. This is why I'm insane. This is why I'm angry all the time. All right, let's move on. Charmed 3XS asks, will anyone be held? This is a great question, Charmed. Thank you. Will anyone be held accountable for the disaster that unfolded in Afghanistan? Will Biden and Harris be impeached for refusing to prioritize American citizens? Joshua, will anyone be held accountable for this ultimate shit show?
And so I'm going to stop shuffling, please.
Stop.
King of Cups, Nine of Swords, Chariot. No, I don't think so. King of Cups would be Biden. All right,
good.
He's a water sign, Scorpio. Nine of Swords is like a lot of like pomp and circumstance. So people are going to be talking about this. They're going to be talking like it's an over an intellectualization. But with the Chariot card, yeah, this is like hard control. So Biden wouldn't have done what I'm getting is Biden wouldn't have done what he did unless he had the okays of people who would protect him, right? He's not an idiot, you know. In terms of making that decision, perhaps his handlers or other people. But yeah, no, he's protected. There's just going to be a lot of talk about it. But talk, that could lead to votes down the line, right? So
I guess.
There we have it.
All right. And let's see. Will Biden and Harris be impeached for refusing to prioritize American citizens? Will Joe Biden and Kamala Harris be impeached, Joshua?
You think they both could be?
No, I don't think either of them are going to be, but,
Right.
You're the psychic.
Let's see. Will they be impeached because of this issue, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Ace of Swords, the Magician, Page of Pentacles. Absolutely not. And also energetically, they have like this white energy around, like they are in the clear, which is, terrible. But I think they have a tremendous amount of protection around them. And they have, their own logic that I believe was backed up by other people. The Magician, Page of Pentacles, no. They wouldn't have put themselves in such a precarious spot unless they knew they were going to be safe.
All right. Let me see. Okay. I had a super chat jump. Let me see. Dragon Water says Joshua was completely right. Oregon is fully masked up again. Masks are not about protection. Yep, another mark in the column for you, Joshua.
Sorry, Oregon. Oh.
George Andre Veloso Nunez wants to know, will the world forget about COVID by the year 2024? I don't think we're ever going to forget this long national goddamn nightmare. What?
Unless we're hypnotized.
Exactly.
Does he mean like, will COVID be...
Will we get over it?
Will we get over it or will it be over?
I'm going to say like, will we get over it? Like, will we forget? Will we move on with life?
Will we move on at 2024, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Ooh.
Adrian says we'll have COVID 24 by then. That's not funny, Adrian.
The Aquarius version of COVID. So 10 of Swords is actually... No. So
we're putting it to bed?
It's like at the end of a problem when it cannot get much worse, right? And then you got Page of Pentacles. And then you have the Magician. So I do think that, yeah, I think that there's a good chance of us moving on from it. Maybe we'll be in like hazmat suits. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that'll do it. We'll walk around like little mummies.
All right.
Tied up. It's crazy. But yeah, I think it looks good. I think we might be
excellent.
Moving on by that point.
Excellent. Kat says, I travel a lot. When will alcohol be served on planes again? Flying sucks these days. Well, alcohol is served in first class, but it is not served in coach. I think this is a great question, Joshua. Will alcohol ever be served in coach on airplanes again?
And so I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Three of Wands, Eight of Cups, the Hermit. Eventually, Yeah.
Thank
I
God.
think actually with the Hermit, because it's a major arcana card, yeah, I think they're going to start lifting like restrictions a little bit for that. Yeah. You might actually see some airlines, because it's the actual airlines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the Hermit card, this is, this is things happening a little bit more quickly. So yeah, I do think that restrictions will be released a little bit. Yeah. So I think that's good. And I think with Three of Wands, it's usually about leadership. So my feeling is it will be like you can determine like what airline you want to fly on based upon whether or not they serve drinks. So
Excellent. Excellent news. All right. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Suwal. I don't know how to pronounce your name, dude. I'm sorry. Will there be any terrorist attacks on U.S. soil before the end of this year? A nice uplifting question, Joshua.
Yeah. Wah, wah. Okay, so will there be any U.S. terrorist attacks, right?
Yes.
U.S. soil this year, meaning
Yes.
by January.
Before the end of this year.
And so I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Eight of Cups, Knight of Wands, Ten of Cups. No, I think there's going to be, I wouldn't call it a terrorist attack. There's definitely like some action going on, but then
good.
the Ten of Cups, like the fire is sort of put out because there's a lot of water. You know what I mean? I think there is going to be like some action that does take place, but I wouldn't call it a terrorist attack. Like, for instance, when 9/11 happened, I was actually reading tarot cards at that point, which is kind of insane. But we kept getting, because I was working in a psychic salon at that point, everybody kept getting the tower for weeks.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm glad we don't see the tower here. That was my concern. I think with Knight of Wands, there might be issues, but I wouldn't call them terrorist attacks. More like threats, more like there's some kind of action, but I wouldn't qualify it as a terrorist attack. Yeah.
All right. G. Grimsley asks, will families be able to enjoy in-person Thanksgiving this year? The answer is yes. You should do whatever you want to do, but Joshua, please.
And this is like what territory? Because obviously some
like United States. Thanksgiving.
Trying to take Thanksgiving away from us?
Well, Joe Biden did give us permission to have a barbecue on 4th of July, remember? So, will Joe Biden give us permission to have Thanksgiving in person?
And so I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Death. Strength. The Emperor. I think as things are looking right now, with the Death card, I think that, I think it's going to be about, it's a major issue in terms of boundaries. And I think with the Strength card, it's a little disconcerting because this is like joy and strength exercise. But with the Emperor, which is more like the father figure, I think that as things are looking right now, because everything's subject to change as we're in this like a little bit of mess, there might be a little bit of a power struggle, believe it or not. There might be some kind, like, I don't think he's going to be like, you can't have Thanksgiving, but he might request or ask or, advise, maybe limit in some numbers of households, stuff like that.
Do whatever you want. Do whatever. That's my advice. Do whatever you want.
Yeah. I think my concern is with the Death card, because this is sort of like,
it's not a good card in this context.
Well, in this context, it's really about boundaries. Like, when does how can they dictate what's going on here? Well, in LA they did that, right? Like, if people are having parties, didn't they have them like shut off the water supply?
Yes.
I mean,
another reason why we will never move to Los Angeles. All right. Sue Walenta, I see your $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I don't see a question associated with it. Dragon Water, we already answered this one. Will Biden be impeached for gross incompetence? Joshua, is that substantially different than the other impeachment question?
No, he has a lot of protection around him. There's no way.
He's not going to make
a decision that is impeachable. Do you know what I mean?
All right. Patrice wants to know, will Biden bring the U.S. a new rail system? A very practical infrastructure question, Patrice.
A new rail system, like another Amtrak?
Like a train. Like a high-speed train.
Oh, I see. Okay. So will we get a high-speed train in the U.S., like a major thing,
yes,
right?
Will Biden bring us a new rail system? I added the high-speed part, but I think that's important.
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
King of Cups, the Chariot, Page of Swords. I think that's a little convoluted. I think that there is energy that's moving in that direction, but with Page of Swords, there's just a lot of, like, not until like COVID and its myriad variants are sort of subsided. I think with Page of Swords, there's like a lot of issues in terms of that. Like, there's higher priorities. Wasn't there at one point going to be a shuttle that took us from LA to New York? Do you remember hearing about that?
In theory, yes.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
That never happened, obviously.
Never happened.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome.
Shuttle. That would have been great.
All right, guys, I just want to let you know we have a lot of super chats to get through, and we're going to do our very best to try to get through all of them, I promise. But I just want people to be aware, if you send in a super chat now, we might not get to it, but we're going to do our very best to try to get through all of them.
Next week, we'll write them down on Post-its.
We'll write them down on Post-its, which can never go wrong. But we appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you for that. All right. D-Biz wants to know, is it okay to talk about the racist elephant in the room? This is a two-part question. Okay, so D-Biz, that was like the first part, I think. D-Biz actually just sent in another super chat, a nice big super chat, so we'll bring this one up on the screen. The Big asks, can we erase racism if BIPOC people address their own prejudices and racism? Is white? I don't like this question, but I'm just reading the super chat. Is Whitey done with the racism issue, or do they owe more than what they have already sacrificed and achieved? Okay, I don't know how you want to psychic this, Josh.
Can we erase racism? What is BIPOC?
Black, Indigenous, people of color, non-white people.
Okay, does that include? So is that only Black people, or is that
Black, Indigenous, and all people of color, non-white people?
Got it. Okay. Can we address their own prejudices and racism? That's very interesting. Is Whitey, meaning white people, done with the racism issue, or do they owe more than what they have already sacrificed and achieved?
I don't know how to psychic this.
Let's see what we get.
All right.
We'll have fun with it.
All right. I'll trust your judgment. You're the psychic.
Can we erase racism if they address their own prejudices and racism? That's a fascinating question. And tell me when I should stop shuffling on the first question. Can we erase racism if BIPOC people address their own prejudices and racism?
Stop.
Let's see here. Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Discs, Four of Swords. So I think with the Queen of Discs, what we're talking about is like finding that common ground and moving from that place. With Seven of Discs, I think that there's a certain fear of failure. Like if somebody were to say, people of color have an inherent racism or prejudice against themselves, there's a lot of like inability to sort of swallow that pill with Seven of Discs, or Pentacles, not just from people of color, but from, a lot of people who might be protective of people of color. And then you got Four of Swords. So I don't think that's it, because I think that with Four of Swords, it's a matter of there needs to be a certain level of like calmness in regard to the issue. And it's an issue that's very incendiary. So it really brings people up. So the key for understanding is to be really grounded and really non-emotional. So I wouldn't say that's really going to be key. I think that racism exists and prejudice exists for whatever reason. I think a lot of times it's about self-hate, because we have like, the way I see it, we have an oversoul. So like, for instance, past lives are all actually going on concurrently. So I have a life in 1860 that's going on now. Say for whatever reason, I have an issue with one of my concurrent lives, and I have an issue with, a Black person who is actually part of me, part of my oversoul. I might, because we are what we hate, like we wouldn't have that feeling. I might hate Black people, if only because that's one of my other alternative selves, if that makes sense. So it has nothing to do really with Black people. It's all about self-hate. So it's a little bit more complicated, I think, if that's helpful. So I don't think that would be a step in the right direction. I think that really a step in the right direction is not focusing on racism, but focusing on universal love, how we're all the same, and then determining, how we are different. Because they do say that there are different lessons that Hispanics might have from Black people, or Black people have from white people. There is an individuality that's attached to that, but of course that should be celebrated. I hope that helps.
I think that's a very comprehensive answer to that entire question.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right. Let's keep going. AM says Afghanistan. Will Congress try to install Kamala and change course, or will they stick with Biden's decisions, risking leaving citizens screwed?
I was told there'd be no math on this exam. One more time.
Will Congress try to install Kamala and change course, or will they stick with Biden's decisions?
Oh, I get it. Okay. So are they going to try to get rid of Biden and put in Kamala? Is that correct?
Yes.
And tell me to stop shuffling on that.
Let's stop.
Ace of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Devil. Very interesting.
Really?
Yeah, I think with Ace of Wands, there is a move toward that direction, but there are some people that are dead against it. There are people that absolutely do not like her at all.
They're very smart.
Yeah, I think that she's can be a bit of a firecracker. So I think with the Devil card, at the end of the day, it's the establishment that's going to win.
We're going with the devil that we know is what they're doing.
Ooh, well said. Yes, I would say that's the case. But I do think that there's energy that is definitely pro her, and that blocked. Yeah, fascinating.
All right, Pagan Libertarian, my lady, I haven't seen you do a super chat before. We normally don't do personal super chats if for no other reason than you don't want your love life splashed on the internet. But I'm going to make an exception just because I don't want to come back and find it later. I don't know if you do personal readings, but could you tell me if I will find a boyfriend before the end of the year? Thanks, Joshua.
What's her name?
Pagan Libertarian, my lady.
A boyfriend by the end of the year?
Yes.
Pagan?
Pagan Libertarian, my lady.
And tell me to stop shuffling?
Stop.
Will she have a boyfriend by the end of the year? Temperance, Death, Seven of Cups. You're barking up the wrong tree. This is Sagittarian that I think you're going to be really like into. Sagittarians are wanderers, just saying. And then the Death card comes up, and then Seven of Cups. So I think that you're barking up the wrong tree. You need, if you want a boyfriend, you need to find somebody who's willing to commit. But I see there being somebody that's a love interest. Just, don't put your heart in the hands of a rock and roll band. Oasis.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joshua. All right. Kristen Matheny. Kristen, I hear I'll be seeing you in a couple of months. Carlin, my friend, hugs. You're amazing. Joshua, question.
Answer.
What are Governor Ron DeSantis' chance at becoming president?
Ooh. And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Balance, Page of Cups, Ace of Cups. I'd say very, very good.
Yay!
A lot of it really has to do with what he is doing now and how he's handling the different viewpoint with his current, what is it called? Jurisdiction, his current audience.
Florida.
Page of Cups is very, very positive though. And then with Ace of Cups, things are looking good. He is very well liked.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. All right. Dragonwater wants to know, what does the future of capitalism look like? It's a great question.
Oh, okay. So, like, will we still be able to make money?
Yes.
Not be socialist? Is that
yes?
Correct?
Will we still have capitalism?
And so I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Justice, Queen of Wands, Three of Discs. Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be some kind of like balance, but I don't think it's a matter of they're not going to take away people's autonomy. And I think with Three of Discs, if you build it, they shall come. And I think that is what America's all about. So yeah, capitalism ain't going anywhere, which is great.
Excellent. Thomas Bennett wants to know, will the hysteria over COVID-19 calm down? Will we ever have an honest national conversation about how effective vaccines are?
Will the hysteria around COVID ever calm down? And will we ever have an honest conversation about the efficacy of vaccines? Essentially, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Ace of Swords, Emperor, Ten of Swords. I mean, I think that I don't know if that's possible, because I think that again, the Emperor card before Ten of Swords. Oops. Woo! We don't want this card flying around. 10 of Swords. I think that the thing is that they're worried. They're worried about ideas being like sort of crossed. Like they don't want to give people an excuse to not get vaccinated. So I don't think, unfortunately, that is going to happen. Like with all parties involved, like an honest discussion. Unfortunately, I don't think so.
It's so Orwellian that we live in this world. We can't even have there are things we can't talk about on this video right now, or I will get kicked off YouTube.
You can't even say the word illness in a Instagram tweet post without them giving a COVID-19.
Oh, I know. They gave a COVID fact check to a post I made about getting COVID from yarn. Carrie McKim says, Josh predicted in a private reading last night, I am a school board member, and he correctly predicted that the board will vote to mask kids. Sadly, he was correct. We had our meeting tonight, and I was the lone no vote.
I'm sorry, Carrie. Wah, wah.
Another right one for you, Joshua. Oh, God. Big super chat jump. Okay, hang on. Shit. Guys, I really don't know that we're going to get to all these super chats. We're going to try. AM wants to know economics. The stagflation party is here. How do we get in a good vibration and mindset to cope with the economics and inflation? How do we get in a good mindset, Joshua?
To deal with the economics and inflation?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I instead of like tarot cards, like for this, there are some people that thrive no matter what economy we're in. There are even people that thrived in the Great Depression in 1929 when the crash happened, and when Lehman happened. There's people that always thrive no matter what the economy is like. So I would make a decision that you're one of those people who always thrive. Once you make that decision and you line up with it, then you're sort of bankrupt proof or recession proof and whatnot. I would just really lean into that. Like no economy, because there are people that always thrive no matter what. So I would be one of those people. Just make that decision and trust the decision, and then act like you trust the decision. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Ilk 517 wants to know, Josh, do you have those glow in the dark stars on your ceiling in your apartment or house? I still have some from the 90s and they still glow in the dark. Joshua, do you have glow in the dark stars in your bedroom?
I ordered them from Amazon, but there's a delay, so they're in the mail.
Excellent. Thomas Bennett wants to know, was the Biden admin surprised by the outcome of our withdrawal, and was Kamala for it or against it?
Okay, so the first one was the admin surprised, right?
Were they surprised?
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Were they surprised? Emperor, King of Cups, Judgment. I don't think so. I think that they were in on it. They knew what was going on. Yeah.
Excellent.
But the Kamala question, so this is a little tricky because like there's so many different levels. Like, did she act like she didn't want it? Did she say that she didn't want? Do you know what I mean? So what truth are we getting to in regard to her? Because obviously,
did Kamala express any doubt about the withdrawal?
Did she like actively
say, I don't think this is a good effing idea?
Got it.
Yeah.
Did she actually take a stand and say, this is a bad idea, Joe?
Yeah.
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Knight of Wands, 5 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Look at this.
She didn't say shit.
She didn't say shit. Does this look like somebody who's going to speak up to her boss?
No.
Nope. 5 of Swords, self-interest. So, and then with Knight of Wands. So, yeah, she's like, oh, yeah, no, I made a big deal about it after everybody was out of the room. When she was the last one in the room, that's when she spoke up when nobody else was there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She is tricky. Tricky.
Yep. All right. Dragonwater wants to know, will the world get over its addiction to fear?
I mean, entirely?
Yeah.
Let's see. You never know. And I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop. Rapid fire.
Temperance, 10 of Swords, 5 of Wands. No, I think that you need, I think fear is just ingrained, I don't think we'll ever get over it, but you get that choice. Individuals, we have that choice. Like if you want to we have so much freedom that we can choose bondage if we want to. That's how free we are as human beings. So, and it's up to some people. They want fear. That's their prerogative. If people want to be miserable, that's fine. That's their choice, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Cool. Charm 3XS wants to know, are there nefarious reasons as to why weapons and machinery were left behind and not destroyed?
Ooh, interesting. And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
9 of Cups, Hermit, 5 of Wands. I wouldn't. 9 of Cups, the Hermit. I wouldn't say nefarious reasons, but I think that it worked out well for them for whatever reason, which is strange with 9 of Cups. It's creating like an issue. So I think that for whatever reason, I think for whatever reason, it's going to serve them, the people who made the decision.
Huh.
Yeah, it was like a happy accident is what I get. Strange.
Joshua, do you have a few extra minutes to get through some of these other things?
I don't. I have to go. I'm so sorry, but let's write them down, Alan.
I will write down the super chats. Sorry, guys, we couldn't get through them all tonight, but I will make sure to write them down, and we'll do like special edition episode or something.
Promise.
In which we get you answers to your questions. So I guess that's our show for the night because Joshua has to be somewhere much more important than us, I guess.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're doing. Whatever. I think I do.
It's more important. It's more important.
Fine. fine. All right, guys. Well, Joshua and I do this every Tuesday night at 9:30. So if we didn't get to your question tonight, I'm sorry, we'll get to it, but you can always come back next week and ask brand new questions. If you want to reach out to Joshua to get a private reading, his information is in the description below, psychicsun.com, and please subscribe to his YouTube channel as well, because he is now putting male asses on his YouTube channel, and it's very exciting. They're not just women's asses anymore.
You asked for it, and you got it.
Thank you, Joshua. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.